All right, let's talk about something that makes every plant parent's heart sink. You know that feeling, right? You walk over to your favorite plant, and seemingly overnight, these weird, dark spots have shown up on the leaves. And each one has this strange little yellow ring around it. It is so frustrating. And what you decide to do in that moment, well, it could make things a whole lot worse.
Yeah, does this look a little too familiar? That dark lesion surrounded by that telltale yellow halo? When you see this, your mind probably leaps to the exact same conclusion, the one that everybody always talks about. But here's the thing. The common wisdom on this one is very likely leading you down the completely wrong path. The real reason this is happening is way more specific, and today we're going to crack the code together.
First up, what exactly is this yellow halo? Because it's not just some random bit of damage. Oh no, it's a very specific signal your plant is sending out. Let's figure out what it's saying. I think this description just nails it. It feels so sudden, doesn't it? Almost like a bruise that just appeared from inside the leaf. And it's this very distinct pattern that holds the key to what's actually happening. Okay, so let's put on our detective hats for a second. This pattern, the dark spot, the yellow halo, it's one of the clearest clues your plant can possibly give you. We just need to learn how to read the signs.
In pretty much every case, this pattern is pointing to one culprit: leaf spot disease. Now, that's just a general name for an infection caused by either bacteria or a fungus that's decided to set up shop on the leaf. So the most important thing to get right now is that your plant is actively fighting something. Now, here's the really cool part. That yellow halo, it's not actually part of the disease itself. It's your plant's immune response in action. The plant is literally creating a barrier, a quarantine zone, to stop the infection from spreading into the healthy tissue. Your plant is fighting back. How amazing is that? So, who's the bad guy here? Bacteria or fungus? Well, they look a little different. Bacterial spots often look kind of water-soaked and soft, and the spots themselves can get dark and mushy. Fungal spots, on the other hand, they're usually drier, more crispy. Sometimes you can even see little concentric rings, almost like a bullseye. Knowing the difference can be really helpful if you need to treat it later on. Okay, so we know it's a disease, but what's actually causing it to happen in the first place? This is the part where almost everybody gets it wrong. So let's pull back the curtain on the real culprit. The number one myth, by far, is that this is a classic sign of overwatering. You know, we see a sick plant and our first instinct is to blame the watering can. And look, while overwatering the soil can stress a plant out, it is not the direct cause of these specific spots. Here it is. This is the key. The real cause is moisture that's been hanging around for too long on the leaves themselves, not in the soil, but on the foliage. Those little bacterial and fungal spores need a wet surface to move around, multiply, and start an infection. So where's all this leaf moisture coming from? Well, it could be from misting your plants, thinking you're helping with humidity. It could be from watering from above and just splashing water everywhere. Or, and this is a big one, it could just be bad air circulation. If the air in a room is stagnant, any moisture on the leaves just sits there for hours, creating a perfect little breeding ground. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We know the cause, so what on earth do we do about it? The good news is the fix is pretty straightforward, as long as you act decisively. Here is your 3-step action plan. It's simple. First, you've got to remove the source of the infection. Second, you change the environment so it can't thrive anymore. And third, only if you really need to, you treat it. Let's break that down. Step 1. Remove the affected leaves. I'm serious. Any leaf that shows these spots, each spot is basically a little factory pumping out more germs. Leaving them on is just asking for trouble. So grab some clean scissors. I know it feels harsh, but you're not hurting the plant. You are performing life-saving surgery. Step 2 is all about fixing the environment, and that means changing some of our habits. From now on, water at the base of the plant. Keep those leaves dry. Put the mister away for a while. And probably the most important thing, get the air moving. Seriously, even a small fan running in the room for a few hours a day can make a massive difference. So, let's say you've done the first 2 steps, but the spots are still spreading. Okay, now it's time for step 3, treatment. If you identified it as bacterial, a copper-based bactericide is what you need. For fungal issues, you'll want a fungicide. The key here, either way, is consistency. One little spray isn't going to cut it. You're just giving your plant the backup it needs to win this fight. But let's zoom out for a second.
Because fixing the disease is great, but how do we prevent it from ever coming back? This is all about building a stronger, more resilient plant.
And here's the last piece of the puzzle. A truly healthy, happy plant is actually really good at fending off these kinds of pathogens. The disease usually only gets a chance to take hold when a plant is already weakened or stressed out by something else. So what stresses a plant out? Well, it's the usual suspects, right? Not enough light, a totally chaotic watering schedule, not enough nutrients, and, as we've learned, stagnant air. So really, fixing this leaf spot problem is a great chance to do a full health check. Is your plant getting everything it needs to be strong and tough? And that brings us to the single most important idea in this whole explainer. The damage you see on your plant is never random. It's a signal. It is a direct message, telling you that something in its world is not quite right. So the next time you see that dark spot with its little yellow halo, you're not going to panic. You're going to see it for what it is, a very specific piece of information. The question isn't what's wrong with my plant anymore. The question is, what is my plant trying to tell me? And now, you know how to listen.